Hey everyone, Audra coming at you from Studio Blue. We have an all-level Pilates class today, and you may notice that there's the pillow and a mini ball set out. That's just because if you don't have a mini ball, you can use a pillow instead. So feel free to grab that real quickly because we're gonna get started in just a second. And as always, remember to listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. You can opt out of any exercise and any prop. So we're gonna go ahead and come onto our back, knees bent, feet flat. And if you're using the pillow, you're just gonna fold it in half to bring it in between your knees. If you're using the ball, hopefully it's a little bit deflated. And you're just going to lie down and feel where your body is today. So first, just start breathing. Inhale in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just start to come into your body, right? Sometimes if we're thinking about all the things throughout the day, we don't really check in with ourselves. So just start to notice if you have any tension that you're holding on to in your neck or your back or your hips or your jaw. And as you breathe, allow that area to expand like an overly inflated balloon. And then allow it to deflate and get kind of floppy and relaxed. Trying to fill your whole body three-dimensionally. So as we inhale, send your breath low into your pelvis, into your sits bones, into your hip bones, lower back, backs of your ribs, sides of your ribs, and then allow the belly and chest to expand equally. Exhale, think about drawing your hip bones together. And then inhale, try to send your breath really low into your pelvis before anything else responds. We're allowing the tissue of our lower back and our intercostal muscles to expand, allowing that diaphragm to lower so our lungs can effectively fill with oxygen. And then exhale, draw your hip bones together. Imagine a little hook below your belly button, just drawing in and up to help you activate your deep abdominals, that little pelvic floor lift. And then inhale, let everything relax. On your next exhale, think about those hip bones and then the hook, and then squeeze the pillow or the ball without bringing excess tension into your neck or shoulders. Just see if it helps you find that little bit of deeper abdominal connection. And then inhale, allowing everything to expand, widen, and relax. Exhale, bring everything to center, inner thighs, hip bones, softening the ribs down towards your belly button as well. And then inhale. On your next exhale, we're imprinting our spine. So think about drawing those hip bones towards each other. And then using that abdominal connection, we rock our hip bones towards our face, lengthening your lower back. And then rock your pelvis back to center. Inhale and relax. As you rock, try not to just shove your spine down and rock through your joints. Use that deep abdominal connection. So you engage first, move second. Think about if you had a marble on a plate and you want to roll that marble toward your face and then roll the marble just back to center without popping or flaring the ribs. First couple don't count, it is okay. Last two like this, engage first, then start to mobilize. Range of motion doesn't matter as much as engagement does. Rocking back to center. And then last one, hold your imprint. Pulling your hip bones toward your face, roll that marble towards you, hold. Inhale here. Exhale, try to deepen that imprint, dialing your hip bones toward your face and hold. See if you can keep more of the work in your abs than your glutes. Inhale. Exhale, deepen that imprint and peel your spine up into your first bridge. Think about the heels dragging towards you, knees going away from you. Squeezing those glutes to help elevate you. Inhale. Exhale, soften your ribs and melt and roll all the way down until you come into your nice neutral pelvis position. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, exhale, imprint. Slowly see if you can deepen that imprint, and then deepen that imprint until you peel up, imagining dragging your heels towards you, sending your knees away. Inhale. And then as you exhale and roll, yes, of course, the idea is to articulate, but really allow the tissue of your lower back to spread and widen and melt. Last one like this. We hold the bridge, shoulder blades down your back. Keep your weight on your shoulder blades and not on your neck. Bring your arms overhead. And as your arms reach away from you, you melt all the way down. So we're creating that kind of internal resistance. Bring your fingertips back to the sky, arm bones melting down in the socket. Come back up into your bridge. Arms come overhead, and then reach the fingertips away from you as your spine lengthens the opposite direction. Last one, reconnect by allowing that humeral head to slide down to the ground, finding that nice deep abdominal engagement to initiate your peel off of the mat. And then arms come overhead, trying to relax your neck and shoulders and rolling your spine all the way down. Interlace your hands behind your head. Bring your elbows slightly forward into your periphery. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Trying to maintain a neutral pelvis as long as possible. Soften your ribs and lift your chest, looking towards your knees. And then lengthen all the way back down. Just a couple more like this. Nice and easy to start. Sinking the ribs down, hollowing out through the front of your body, allowing your head to come along for the ride, right? So we don't want it to lag behind, nor do we want it to be what's initiating, right? We're made up of a bunch of levers, so we're levering from the ribs as opposed to from our neck. If you feel tension starting to happen in your neck, come down, lengthen through your ears, and then just think about your armpit muscles lifting you forward as opposed to your face. And come back down. And last one, hold here. Reach your hands forward. You can use your thighs to help you just lift a little bit higher. Hands come back behind your head. Now just tap one of your shoulder blades barely down. The bottom tips, not the whole thing. Come back to center. Now tap the opposite shoulder blade down. Come back to center. See if you can lift a little bit higher each time. So you tap and then lift higher towards your knees. Give me just a few more here. And once again, you can use the pillow or the mini ball, or you can ditch the pillow or mini ball and just have your knees pointing towards the sky. We're trying to keep your pelvis nice and stable and keeping it in a relatively neutral position. We're gonna hold this last one, hold, reach your hand towards the outside of your leg, inhale, exhale, just lift a little higher, hold, inhale, exhale, lift, and then come down half an inch, inhale, exhale, lift, and then come down half an inch for 3, 2, last one, other side, hand behind your head for support, reach that hand away from you. Inhale, exhale, lift a little higher. Inhale, relax through that neck and shoulder. Exhale, reach that fingertip just a tiny bit away from you, and then come down half an inch. Inhale, exhale, sinking that belly button down, softening the ribs. If you're bracing through your ribs, you're not going to be able to move through your spine. We have 3, 2, last one. Come back to center, head comes down. Gently sway your knees to one side, letting your knees come all the way down to the ground, and then take your hands to the opposite direction, look the opposite direction. Now sink your ribs down, down, down to initiate that movement back to center. We just get to do the other side. Let the knees slowly, slowly, slowly come down, and then the opposite hand reaches. And then sink the ribs down in order to initiate. So we're trying to find that kind of drag back. Now, come up onto your toes, squeeze the ball or the pillow, find that deep abdominal connection. You can have your hands in a goalpost or T position, whatever works best for you. Small little supine spine twist, drag it back to center. So now we're not going as far. We're allowing that one hip to lift, other hip to sink. The hip that's sinking, it's like it's being filled with sand. And that's why it's not moving. Now, if this feels good and you'd like more challenge, of course, you can float your legs to tabletop, squeezing those inner thighs. Imagine that you have an egg in between your knees and you don't want to drop that egg. So the top leg actually reaches a little bit longer than the bottom one. And if you want more challenge, hold. Make sure the pelvis doesn't wobble as you extend your legs out, bring it back to center, and then bend. Up and over, hold, extend, come back to center, and then bend. So we're finding our end range of where our abs want to connect, and then we just load a little bit longer, right? So it's like if we're doing a fly move, and then we just extend our arms out to the side, it increases the activation of that deltoid because we're lengthening our lever. Last one, each side, and then extend, and then back, and bend, other side. Last one, bring it in, bend your knees, hands come behind your thighs, lift your chest, and just start to press your thighs into your hands until you can make a little rolling shape and come all the way up. We're going to take the pillow, if you're using the pillow, we're gonna move it behind us. So once again, just fold it in half and then take it behind your thoracic spine. It's not going to give you as much support or range as the ball will, and you might even decide to fold it over one more time. I'll show what it looks like here, and then I'm gonna grab the ball. So just relax over the pillow or the ball, coming into a little bit of upper back extension. Now, while you're in this upper back extension, think about connecting in with your lower abs. Now press your lungs into the ball to lift you up and hold. So now we're in a higher chest lift with actually a little bit less flexion, right? Keep that connection of your abdominals as you slowly, 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 slowly lengthen down. So now we're working our abs eccentrically. Inhale, exhale, sink down, hold, and then lengthen all the way back. Keep going. And if you're using the ball instead of a pillow, you'll have a little bit more height, right? But you don't want to just let your tailbone be heavy. Let your sacrum be heavy. Move the ball so it's in a comfortable position where you can really allow yourself to get that upper back extension and then really allow the abs to connect in order to lift you up. It doesn't need to be a whole lot of flexion here. And then lengthen all the way down and then soften. Come back up. Last one. And now we're just going to add a little knee. So exhale, curl, float one leg to tabletop. Tap it down as you extend. Exhale, scoop and lift. And again, tap and then scoop. Keeping that other foot on the floor for support. If you notice that as that foot is getting away from you, that pelvis is really rocking, see if you can keep it in a more neutral position. It should theoretically be a little bit easier on the pillow, rather than the ball. Last one like this. And now extend that leg away from you, fold it in, rotate towards the knee. Come back to center. So push the foot away, lengthening through the front of the thigh, and then rotate just your ribs so your sternum is looking towards that knee, and then back, maintaining this upright position. Now make sure that you're not pulling on your neck. You're allowing minimal amounts of tension to be in your neck, relaxing your jaw and breathing. 2 more. Push that foot away. Think of it connecting into the ribs. That's where that tension is the most. And then rotate, come back to center, step that foot down. Nice upper back extension. While you're here, think about hollowing out through the front of your body. And then soften those ribs. Curl up as that knee comes up. And then tap as you extend. Once again, check in, make sure that you're not just letting your hip bones follow that foot, right? So it's a little scoop, lengthening through the front of the thigh, stabilizing the pelvis, and curling. Lengthen through your ears, and exhale. Imagine that you have a nice little sandbag full, sitting on the front of you, just helping weight down your belly button a little with ease and not force. 2 more. And last one. Now hold, maintain this lift. Push that foot away from you, trying to send it far, far away like it is an arrow, and then rotate towards the knee. So send that arrow as far away as possible, and then rotate. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, if you're kind of going up and down, your arrow is going to hit the floor before it hits your target. If you're shooting a bow and arrow, you have to actually try to shoot through your target in order for it to make it to your target. So pushing 4 and rotate, trying to keep both sides of your body long. 3, 2 more. And last one. Push that foot away, fold it in, rotate, step the foot down. Last upper back extension. Let your head be heavy without hyperextending through your cervical spine. Try to allow that extension to happen between the shoulder blades. Walk your feet slightly away from you. Lift your breastbone, sinking your ribs down. Bring your hands forward, inhale, and then exhale, reach them forward. Take that ball out. We're gonna do some rolling like a ball. Now, real quickly, if you choose to do rolling like a ball with a ball supporting you, that's fine. You can still pick your feet up. You're just pulling your belly button through your spine, softening your ribs, and pressing into the ball here. Otherwise, we're gonna scoot forward. Make sure that you don't bring the weight onto your head or neck. It stays between the shoulder blades. Look down at your feet, curling your tailbone toward your face, shoulders down. Inhale, back. Exhale, hold. Good. Now you might want to do 90s hip hop dance moves. First one never counts. It's okay. So shoulder blades draw down. Look at your feet the whole time, and then see if you can hold. The reason we want to look at our feet the whole time is if we start looking at the sky, it actually flattens out our spine and it makes rolling a lot harder. But we have 2 more here. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale, and sit on up. Reach your feet away from you. Hands come forward. It's time for roll-ups. So we just found that scoop. Think about reaching the hands forward and pulling the belly button back. So we're creating that internal resistance again. Dial the hip bones back, back, back. Envision that's what is initiating the move, not your upper body. So you're dialing your hip bones back so much that the rest of your body has to respond. And on the way up, you're actually just leading with your upper body, right? Your sternum that comes forward, and the last thing to respond is your hip bones. Let's do that a couple more times. Now, if you like a little bit of assistance, guess what? You're in luck. We have all the assistance you could ever need. We have options. You can use a pillow beneath your lower back, if that feels good, right? You roll it down. On the way back up, don't just lift off of it, sink down onto it as a way for your spine to peel, right? It's just a way for, if you have some sticky spots, your spine to still be able to make the connection with the mat, right? Or if you just need a little bit of engagement through those inner thighs, you can squeeze the pillow or the ball with your ankles and then bring it on up. We get one more. So big inhale. Exhale, roll all the way down. Allow your arms to come overhead just as far as feels good. Inhale as you start to lift, and then exhale, roll the rest of the way up. Good. Grab either your ball or the pillow. If you're using the pillow, make it fold in half again, and just kind of sit on one of the edges just to keep it kind of compressed. Bring your feet forward, curl back. So you just are creating a little bit of support for your lower back here. Same with the ball. You're just creating a little bit of support. Think about your belly button pulling through your spine in order to maintain contact with the ball. Now, shoulders down, hollow out through the front of your body. Think about your ribs drawing together. Don't move your upper body as your hand comes out to the side. And then back to center. So we're just doing a little counter rotation move to start. So as that arm sneaks out, notice how your body has to respond to it, right? So personally, I feel my opposite oblique. So as my right hand comes out to the side, I feel my left oblique have to kick on. And as my left hand goes out to the side, my right oblique has to kick on. If you're like, well, I don't really feel anything kicking on, think about narrowing through your ribs, think about narrowing through your hip bones, and pull your belly button through your spine just a little bit. Now bring that one side out to the side and then rotate, taking that other hand forward and then back to center. Come back to that counter rotation move first and then reach the other arm and then back. And then one out, hold, and then add the rotation. In between, find that moment to relax your shoulders out of your ears. And we're trying to find a little bit of armpit muscle activation. So front of the armpit, like you've got little water wings on. So you've got a little bit of buoyancy. We're almost there. And last set, we get one more each side, relaxing those shoulders out of your ears each time, and then rotate, and then back, and then out to the side, and then rotate, and then back. Now all you're gonna do, curl your tailbone, look down at your knees, shoulder blades draw down, pull your belly button through your spine, curl forward half an inch. Now roll your pelvis back, trying not to arch, and then press forward. This might be where you are. That's fine. It's just a little pull of the hip bones, fold of the ribs. If you'd like more challenge, get rid of the ball or the pillow, and you curl, 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 and then you fold, 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 fold. Once again, if you feel that pelvis and your hip flexors and your back trying to do the work, see if you can fold over an imaginary line. Couple more here. 2, Shoulders down, trying not to just let the pecs do all the work. Last set. And then we roll all the way back, hands behind your head. If you need to, ditch the ball or the pillow. Go ahead, bring one leg at a time up to tabletop. Hands come behind your thighs. Use the backs of your thighs to press into your hands just a little bit. And then send one leg away. Both hands press down into that other shin. Shin's the word. Pressing up. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Trying to find that lat, serratus, and abdominal connection during our single leg stretch. Good. Sending that leg as far away from you as possible. Trying not to grip through your neck and shoulders, but find that buoyancy through your armpits. Keeping that pelvis nice and stable. 2 more sets. Now hands come behind your head. Rotate through your thoracic, right? So just that rib cage. Don't worry so much about range of motion or elbow. Think more about sternum lifting towards that knee as we push that other foot away and push. Few more here. If you find yourself sinking, come back to center. It's a small rotation, and you can always, always, always use your opposite hand to help give you just a little assistance. Almost there. Last one. Come back to center, hug your knees in toward your chest, and gently rock from side to side for a second. Now, both feet can come down. Take your hands, place them on your thighs, and just gently press into your thighs to help your hip flexors relax, just in case they were being a little overactive. Now slide one foot away from you, hollowing out through the front of your body, sinking your belly button down, sinking your sacrum down into the mat, softening your ribs. Push that foot away from you, trying to get that connection through your oblique, and then back, and then push it away, and then back. And one more, push as opposed to lift. And drag that foot in, other side, trying not to allow the hip bone to chase the foot. So you try to maintain that nice stable pelvis, and then push that foot away, stabilizing through those deep abdominals. And push, relaxing through your neck and shoulders, and push. Now drag that leg back, engaging from your hamstring. Hamstrings have to help here. Now first, interlace your hands behind your head, come into your chest lift. Reach your fingertips forward. Imagine I'm pulling you forward a little. We're gonna start here with hundreds. So inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. If you notice that you're kind of lifting up and down, bring your head down for a second. Connect through your abs, connect through your ribs. Try stabilizing the ribs and pelvis against the force of your arms pumping. Now, if you can do that, then reach the hands forward. Now, if that feels good and you'd like more challenge, reach one leg up and then the other. Reaching those fingertips away from you. Now, if you'd like even more, push your feet away, so far away that it actually helps you lift. Squeezing those inner thighs, and we inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale. Almost there. Inhale. Exhale, reach one foot up towards the sky. Still reaching your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, switch your legs. If you need to, bring your hands behind your head as you switch. And then switch. Once again, pushing the foot away from you rather than just anchoring it down to the ground. And of course, if you'd like a little assist, hands can come to the back of the thigh as you let that leg lift. Thinking of sinking the thigh bone down in the socket so you're not overworking through the hip. 2 more sets. Last one. And we get to hug our knees in towards our chest, and rock from side to side. Go ahead, bring your hands down to the ground. Let your knees be heavy here. Soften your ribs down, sink your belly button down, curl your tailbone towards your face, and then rock back. So we've shortened the angle underneath our knees and our hips. So this move is probably going to be pretty small, but hopefully it's contained. So it's small but fierce. Now, if this feels good for you, bring your legs to tabletop. If you tend to roll in through the shoulder, palms can face each other, widen your hands. So you press a little with your triceps as opposed to your pecs. Once again, it's a curl of the tailbone and then back. If this feels good and you'd like to advance, extend your feet towards the sky. Now, if your knees bend a little, it is a-okay. Just let your feet be nice and heavy over your face and then roll down. Just think about those feet being heavy. Imagine that you've just got little 5-pound weights on them. 2 more. Now, if this is where you are today, great. Otherwise, we're going to do a couple rollovers. Also, if you want to bridge instead of rollover, that's okay too. So any of these variations we've just done are great. Otherwise, keep your pelvis nice and stable. Push your feet away from you. Let your feet be heavy. Inhale, exhale, roll up. Flex your feet, widen your feet. Try to keep your tailbone up as your feet touch down, and then melt away from your throat, breastbone, ribs, pushing your heels away until you circle them down. Inhale, exhale. Just let those feet be heavy. Flex, widen, tap, creating that tension between your heels and your abs. Let it come back up. So even though your hips are trying to lower, your feet are reaching the other way. That's actually what slows you down a little bit and creates that little bit of extra ab work. Last one. Flex, widen, tap, pressing those heels away, all the way down. Sweep them together, hug your knees in towards your chest, and gently rock from side to side. Hands come behind your thighs, press your thighs into your hands to bring yourselves back up. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Now, if you have hamstring or hip flexor tightness that creates like the inability to sit up nice and tall, you have options. You can either fold your mat, or you can grab your pillow, or you can bend your knees. Whatever feels best for you today is fine by me. So first, just imagine sitting up nice and tall, like you've got a magnet on the crown of your head, and it's stuck to the ceiling. Bring your hands out to the side, shoulders down. We're actually going to do palms up today. And then if you need to, bring your hands to your shoulders, that's okay. We're going to rotate to one side and hold. Big inhale here. Exhale, rotate a little bit deeper for spine twist. And then come back to center. Inhale. And then exhale, deepen that rotation. Come back to center. Rotate. Don't be afraid to hold for a second, telling your nervous system, it's okay. And then instead of forcing more range, you're encouraging a little bit more range, right? So a lot of times when we go to our end range, if we then try to force it, we might get a little bit more out of it, but it's rarely a sustainable addition. Whereas if you tell your nervous system, hey, you're safe, you're supported, let's maybe get a little bit more out of this, then the next time you go to that range, you'll be able to go a little bit deeper. Last one like this, once again, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, exhale, rotate. Last one, inhale, exhale, rotate. Now we add on, we're gonna rotate to that one side. Flip that back palm, reach forward, dive forward. It's okay to round your back here. Now think about extending through the crown of your head, lift back up, rotate back to center. Rotate, dive forward, flexing through your spine, pressing that palm back. Now lengthen through the crown of your head, lengthen through your tail feathers, and then float back up, and then all the way back to center. Once again, you've got that magnet, and rotate, dive forward. Think about that little saw. Once again, you can bend your knees, it's okay. All the way up, and rotate again, flexing your spine, elongating through the crown of your head, coming back up to center. We only have one more each side. Rotate, come down, extend, back up. So think of this in several ranges, right? We're rotating on our transverse plane, and then we are adding spinal flexion. So it's flexion and rotation. And then we're extending. So it's rotation and extension. So make sure that everything here feels good. Go ahead, bring your hands down. We're gonna walk our hands towards our shins. Nice flat back. Now just let everything relax and then roll it back up. Let's try that again. And you can of course point or flex. Walk your hands forward, flat back, let everything round, and then you restack. Now of course, if you want more work, hands are just gonna come forward, reach, round, and roll. Now we reverse it. And that looks like a dive forward. And then extend through the crown of your head. And then sit back up. If you want the hands down for this too, that's fine. Hover up and over a big beach ball as you aim down. And then articulate out through your spine. Tail feathers all the way to your ears. And then hinge up using all of the muscles in your core for support here. Down and extend, and then come on up, and then we get to come onto all fours, coming into a quadruped position. We're going to do a couple different things. So hands just in line with your shoulders, hips underneath your knees. So if you're spread out, it's not going to offer as much support. So go ahead, find that center where right underneath your shoulders lie your hands, right underneath your hips lie your knees. Let your collarbones come down, allowing your shoulder blades to kind of shrug together. Now push the floor away while you think about opening a pickle jar. So we're hoping to access our serratus. And then sink it down, and then press. One more, sink it down, press. So even though I'm in a neutral spine, I'm still really hugging my abs up and in. Now without moving, just lift one hand, hold. Notice how the longer you hold this, the more you become aware of like what's actually activating, whether it's your abs, your shoulder, your glutes. Step it down, reconnect with the floor, other hand. And then we hold, 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 bring it down, reconnect, lift and hold, 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 trying to get that oblique serratus connection to start talking a little bit. If you're like, what is the serratus? She's talked about it a lot. It is your front armpit muscle. It's really important for shoulder stability. And then last one. Now both hands come down, tuck your toes under. Now making sure that you're not arching your back, nice flat back, push your hands and feet down into the floor, push one of your feet down so far that the knee starts to lift a little. It's just gonna hover and then back down. Press the other foot down, knee starts to hover. And just back and forth a couple times. And of course you can start to float the knee up, hold, trying not to shift a lot. It's more of a hover. And then back down, just a little hover and lift. And back down, one more each side. Hover, lift, and a hold. And back down, hover, lift, hold. Now slide that first foot out. Push it so far away from you. Think about a laser beam coming from your center, and that foot starts to lift. and then bring it in. See how much you shifted. You can, of course, untuck your toes, slide that other foot away. Laser beam coming from your center glute, activating, and then back. Now, of course, you can reach that opposite arm away from you. And just notice if your body is starting to rock. Good, we have a couple more here. Boom. Boom. Last one, each side, pushing that foot so far away that it starts to lift, getting that glute max, that prime mover, to be responsible for the movement. Now press yourself into a little rest position to offload your wrists. Feel free to roll them out. We are coming into a plank. We're actually going to be doing front support, but if for some reason you don't want to be on your wrists any longer, that's okay. You can absolutely be on your forearms. Otherwise, shoulder blades draw down your back. Lift your ribs. Think of one long line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Slide one foot out. That's a secondary line. Other foot comes to meet it. Try not to let the hips sink or tailbone point up. Now fold one knee underneath you, reach it back, pressing through that heel to make that connection. So if you think of a wall being behind you, you're just gently pressing your heel into the wall. 4, 3, 2 more. Last one, knees down, press yourselves into a rest position. While you're here, slide your hands down behind you. Now, palms are actually going to start pointed towards the sky, and your humeral head will be internally rotated, but try not to be in a giant protracted position here. Think about your shoulder blades drawing down your back, reaching your fingertips to the back wall. Lift your ears. Now press your hands back behind you just a little bit. Think about the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, initiating a little bit of upper back extension. Now just flip your palms to face each other. Now you can flip your palms to face down and then relax all the way. Palms will face the sky. Shoulders draw down, initiate in that internal rotation. And then we come into neutral. And then we can start coming into external rotation. So now your thumbs will point towards the sky and then relax down. If this isn't comfortable in your shoulders for any reason, please opt out. Good. Reaching those fingertips away. And then we come into a neutral, palms face down. And then you can do thumbs up, 7 up, shoulder blades still drawing down your back. And then think about your thumbs lifting towards the sky just a little bit. Thumbs lifting towards your sky just a little bit. 5, or knuckles to the sky if that feels better. Or even just your pinky fingers to the sky if that feels better. For 3, 2, 1, come into your rest position, relaxing through your neck, through your shoulders. Trying to get that nice like mid upper back extension. Take your hands up and over to one side, opposite hand reaches farther. That can be a challenging place to access because it tends to be our lower and mid trapezius, sometimes our rhomboids. Other side. And if we're sitting a lot in kind of a hunched position for any reason, eventually those muscles just stop responding as much. We're gonna come back to center. We're going to extend our legs away from us. You have a ball or a pillow. Hey, guess what? Use them for your head. It's fine. Since I actually have a pillow, I'm gonna use it. Keeping it doubled, just so my head and neck can be in alignment. And then think about being able to slide a sheet of paper underneath your ribs. Slide that top leg away from you, and then think about pushing it away, right? You don't have to be in like a braced arched position, but if your spine is neutral, your hips will naturally be stacked. Now push the foot away. Think about that thigh bone sliding down in the socket as it paintbrushes up the wall. Hold it here, and now squeeze that glute, squeeze the glute. So we've just found our end range of just easy motion through our spine, a little bit of folding at the hip joint, little squeeze of that glute, and then we're just getting that glute medius to layer on a little bit more. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we can do a little circle of that leg. So think about that glute as the initiator of that draw back, right? The thigh bone is stirring freely in the socket rather than just moving the foot and hoping the glute connects. Still think about that seat belt clicked, right? Your abs are helping stabilize your spine here, especially against the movement of your foot, right? So if we're allowing our spine to respond to the movement of our foot, then we're not stabilizing. So think about a hug coming from your lower abs, hug coming from your ribs, and then reverse that circle. So if you think about dragging your foot back through mud or wet sand, it can help create that internal resistance that our nervous system needs in order to get the muscles to fire more. We have 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg back just into alignment, and we flex the foot, allow it to hinge forward at the hip joint, and then point the toes, squeeze the glute, push it away from us on the angle. Flex the foot, allow it to hinge forward. So we're not letting the whole hip come with us, it's moving at the hip joint. If you would like a little bit more challenge, of course, come up onto your elbow and you can fold and push. Now, there's no way to be perfectly still through this movement and still fire the appropriate muscles. So when the foot comes forward, you will lean back a little. It's just not a big sink. And when the foot comes behind you and you squeeze that glute, you can allow yourself to reach your upper body forward just a little bit. It's just not a huge rotation. And then we push. If you need to, of course, you can trace the floor with your foot instead. It's up to you. We have 3 more, and 2, and last one. Bring that knee together. Go ahead, come up onto your forearm if you're not already, and we push to lift our hips into a little side plank. Tap the hips down, press into the floor to lift. Now, of course, our obliques are helping us, right? But it's not just shoulder and obliques. You also need to use that bottom glute, squeeze that top inner thigh, and of course that arm can come overhead for 3. Now, if you want more challenge, that leg can come up as well. And 2. And last 1, hold, extend the leg, and bend the leg. You can bring that hand behind your head if you like. Extend the leg, and bend the leg. If this is too much on your shoulder, bring that hip down. If that's still too much on your shoulder, come all the way down. That's okay, we're just extending and bending for 3, and 2, and last 1, and other side. So go ahead, use the ball or the pillow or no props as we come on down. Once again, we're not braced, but we do have a little bit of space underneath us, sliding that hip away. Paintbrush it up and hold, making sure we didn't accidentally thrust our ribs forward, that they're keeping a contained position, and then squeeze the glute and squeeze the glute. Good. Once again, those deep abdominals are hugging to help us. And that glute medius, that side glute, should be working a lot, right? So if you're feeling this in the front, bring the leg back a little. You can even externally rotate ever so slightly if you need to. So the glute medius, its 2 main moves are abduction and external rotation, right? But it's right next to the TFL, which is abduction and internal rotation, right? So let that foot be heavy. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and we do little circles, right? So once again, we're trying to stabilize our spine against the force created by the weight of the leg, right? So letting that thigh bone stir freely in the socket. Of course, you can point your toe, you can flex your foot, or if it gives you a little bit more control, let the ankle be floppy. We have a few more here, 5 and 4. You're welcome to bring your hand underneath your ribs and see if you accidentally sink into it. And then we reverse. So squeeze that glute to drag that foot back. And now if you think about that glute and opposite lat, I don't want the lat to brace, but they work together as one of our body's subsystems. So if you think about it just gently engaging when that glute max does, you'll actually be training not only the individual muscles, but one of our subsystems. 2 and 1. Now allow that foot to flex, hinging forward at the hip, and then point and push it back. Think about aiming it to the back of the room, not just behind you. And then flex, let that thigh bone fold in the socket, pressing it back, squeezing that glute. And of course, you can always come up onto your forearm. And if your glute starts to talk a little bit too much, keep that foot attached to the floor as it slides forward and back, trying not to sink into slumber party shoulder, lifting up out of that armpit, or letting it hinge. Just a couple more. And once again, of course, your body has to respond a little bit. We just don't want the lower back to be initiating that move or responding too aggressively to it. 2. Last 1. Pushing that foot away, bend the knee, and we come up into our bridge. So you can have your palm up to keep your shoulder in a little bit more neutral position if you tend to internally rotate. And we press and lift. Think about glute. Think about armpit muscles. Think about obliques. And then tap. And then press and lift. And of course, you can always bring that arm overhead, reach it farther. No problem. And of course, if you'd like, you can always let that top leg come up, right? But keep the connection throughout your whole core, right? So it's not just glute here, it's glute, it's obliques, it's transverse abdominis, it's lumbar multifidus. You also have your lat and serratus. Now you can either stay up, have that hand behind your head, and reach and bend and reach and bend, or bring that hip down as you reach and you bend, or come all the way down as you reach and you bend. Whatever feels best for you and your body today is the right exercise for you. As you extend that leg, don't just extend the knee, push the foot away. Think about lifting the kneecap up your leg by squeezing your quadricep. 2 more. And then last 1, bring it all the way in and down. Go ahead, we're gonna come back onto all 4s. Think about lengthening through the crown of your head. Now widen your knees just a hair. And now think about that same muscular engagement as we brush one knee out to the side and bring it in. Brush the other knee out to the side and bring it in. Now, as you do this, notice if there's a big shift, or if you can find that armpit abdominal connection. And of course, that stabilizing leg still has to work. 2 more. Last 1 each side, and then you have the option of coming into a plank. So if you want to be on your forearms, you can be. Otherwise, coming into your plank position, tap out to the side and see if you can keep your pelvis relatively still. A couple more here, reach and tap. Lengthening through the crown of your head. Coming back to center, you can stay there or point one toe, squeeze that glute. as it lifts behind you for 4, 3, 2, other side. Think about that stabilizing glute connecting as well, so you don't just overwork the hip flexor. Using your abs here, 2. Last one, knees come down, press yourselves into your rest position. And we breathe. Now go ahead, come onto your belly. Widen your feet a little bit, especially if you have any lower back issues. Feel free to let your legs be wide, thighs externally rotated, hands underneath your forehead. Think about the shoulder blades gently drawing down your back, and notice if your hip bones are heavier than your pubic bone. I don't want you to shove the pubic bone down and brace through your back or your glutes, but just allow it to be a little bit heavy. Shoulder blades draw down your back, brush your nose forward. Think about the bottom tips of your shoulder blades helping initiate. You don't have to look up, it's just gently forward. And then come down. If you need to, in between, allow your back to move. Shoulder blades draw down, hugging your abs up and in. 2 more. Last one, we're gonna hold. Shoulders come down. If this is too high, feel free to come down a little bit. We're gonna slide your feet together, push one foot away, squeeze that glute, float the foot, bring it down, other side. And just notice if one of your hip bones wants to try to get a lot heavier than the other. Now, of course, your back has to work. We just don't want it to overwork, which is why we're pushing through that glute and squeezing it first and trying not to let your tailbone come up. If you'd like a little bit more height here because it feels good in your back and you have a lot of range, you can always come up onto your elbows, but I still want you to hug your abs up. Don't just let them sink down. Don't worry about range of motion here, right? Keep it small but connected if you need to. 2 more. Last one. Bring your hands forward, suction cup them to the floor, draw the shoulder blades back, give me a thumbs up, 7 up, and then we go opposite arm and leg. As that arm comes up, the shoulder blade should be drawing down and around your back. So it's not about everything elevating, right? The shoulder blade draws down, the armpit muscle opens, and that's why that arm is able to lift. 2 more. And then press yourself into a rest position. Rounding your back, letting yourself be in the opposite position as you just were. So you just worked your spinal extensors, your erector spinae, and now we're letting them relax. If you need a little bit more help with this, put your hands on your hips and gently push your hips down away from you, creating that kind of dripping effect of your tailbone. And then you can take your hands up and over to one side, reaching long through the outside armpit, sending your hips away from your fingers. And breathe. And other side. And then come back to center. We're just gonna roll our shoulders up, back, and then drop them down. Let's do that a couple more times. Bring them up, back, and just drop. And now up to the ears, drop them down. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys had a great time. You are so inspiring every day. I'm so, so, so happy to see you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week and a great weekend. And I'll see you soon.